Hey, this is Chris with Maynard DIY, and today we're going to make a circle jig for the bandsaw. This particular one I made for my 14-inch Rikon bandsaw here, but this concept should work with any bandsaw that you have. As long as it has a miter slot in it, at least one, then this concept should work just fine. So, stick around and I'll show you how.
I start by ripping the stock for my runners of the table saw. First, ripping the width, then cutting the rabbet for the miter slot. You want these to run smoothly, so when you're operating the sled, it doesn't bind up on you. Next, I rip the runner for proper thickness. In hindsight, I would have kept these runners a longer piece while I milled it, so I would have had more to hold on to. Definitely not the safest maneuver, but got the job done. Next comes sanding it smooth for a nice glide. I glued and nailed the blocks on to stop the sled at the proper depth. Pay attention to the angle of the nailer there. I go to make my relief cut, and yep, there it happens. I can't go anymore. Yep. This piece of plywood I used is 11 inches deep by 32 inches wide. It's not critical what size piece you use. I made sure that I could cut a 48-inch circle if I ever wanted to. So what I've done here is I'm lining the corner of this framing square up with the tooth that bends this way. These teeth are staggered, every other one. One goes that way, one goes this way. So I'm lining it up with the tooth that goes this way, and hopefully this should make it so it's dead on, whatever I set it to. I used a pointy nail to mark my holes, but you could use a nail set punch or an awl if you have one handy. I set the depth stop on my drill press so it would not drill all the way through the plywood. Make sure you stick around to the end where I show you how slick this jig is to use and how quick you can cut circles. And if you like this video so far, hit that like button. It's free. I'm drilling this countersink because I'm using a rivet for my pin, so it has a little bit of a shoulder there, so I didn't want that to stick up and make a rocking point on the back of my circles. I'm using CA glue here made by Starbond. This stuff sets up real quick and makes it easier to get the runners dead on. I also had the edge of my plywood against the fence to keep the jig square. I realized the board was a little warped, so I had to put some weight on it so it would adhere to the runners. After it dries, I can carefully pull it out of the tracks and pre-drill and drive screws to hold it in permanently. Now the fun part, getting to see if we can make a circle. I used a rivet for my center pin because I have a bunch of them and can easily make more. I use a 1/16 hole to align with the pin after marking my center point on the board. Now I just drop the pin into whatever size circle I want, and voila! I was really amazed with how fast you can make a circle with this jig and bandsaw. Originally I was using a router with a circle jig, and that worked great and had great results, but man, did that make a mess, and it was a lot slower than this jig is. Once you get this thing set up, you can fly through circles. Because I made both runners instead of just one runner like a lot of these circle jigs are, even with these bigger pieces, the piece is plenty supported enough and I don't have to have a leg sticking down or anything like that. One of the main reasons I made this jig is to make circle backers for my wife's custom scroll saw signs. You can check her stuff out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Stronger by Grace Designs. Links in the description below.